Good morning, Reverend Tony here, out for a walk again with my buddy Pancake in Woodbury, Connecticut, on a frozen over trail after a couple days of rain and sleet and snow and rain and snow again. We're thinking this morning about how there's really no such thing as being apolitical, and there's certainly no such thing as being an apolitical person of faith, whatever your faith is. Take a walk with us. We'll reflect on it a bit more. On January 6th, I took part in a pro-democracy, pro-voting rights rally in Southbury, Connecticut, next door here to my hometown, along with many members of my Unitarian Universalist congregation. We remembered those who defended democracy on January 6, 2021, and we reflected on what it's going to take to keep democracy going in our country, because it is literally under siege. Not just on last January 6th, but with a spate of new laws in mostly red states aimed at decreasing participation in democracy. You know, if you've got to make laws that will hamper people's ability to take part in voting, you've got to know your ideas are bankrupt and you know you'll lose if they vote. After this rally was over, one of the people on one of the chat groups for the town wanted to know very angrily who was responsible for this and who let us use the town property, and we should just all get along, and not everyone on the January 6th insurrection in Washington was violent, not everyone was bad. Well, that smacks of trying to be apolitical about what was actually a terrorist, treasonous attack on the United States of America. It kind of made sense that the people who committed that treasonous, traitorous attack were waving Confederate flags, because the Confederacy was treasonous and traitorous, and they were trying to destroy the United States of America. I think being apolitical is the epitome of privilege. If your life is so far removed from the daily worries and the daily grind that most of us go through to make ends meet, make a living, and get by, you cannot understand that those political decisions, which people are so invested in to the point of activism and righteous anger, have a great effect on whether they get health care, whether they eat or have a place to live. If you are so far removed from that you think people can be apolitical, well, that's the height of disassociated privilege. I'm a minister. Some people think church should be a place that is apolitical. I disagree. I couldn't disagree more. My religious faith calls me to treat everyone with dignity and respect. There is no such thing as a lesser person. My religious faith calls me to respect the wisdom and teaching from the world's religious traditions and from wise people throughout history. My religious tradition calls me to respect the teachings of science and feels that science and spirituality are not enemies but partners. My religious tradition, my faith, calls me to work for the democratic process, not only in our society at large, but in all levels of society, in my congregation as well. You know, every issue that is a political issue, and virtually everything is, I relate my faith to those issues. What does my faith say? If there's a law that's trying to make it harder for people to vote, my faith says there's no such thing as a lesser person. And because there's no such thing as a lesser person, I support wide and open voting rights. Because there's no such thing as a lesser person, I work for a just economy. No one should be making billions and billions of dollars while other people are hungry, have no medicine or health care, have no place to live. Because there's no such thing as a lesser person, everyone should have access to health care. Everyone should have access to education and housing and food. Yes, we are all in this together, and if you think that makes me a socialist, well, so be it. My faith calls me to value the earth and the interdependent web of all existence and all life. Because of that, I work to make sure we do something, anything about climate change before it's too late. And I work for clean air and clean water and the respectful use of land. I do not publicly endorse political parties or candidates because I'm a minister, nor do I let my congregation do the same because that's against our IRS rules for religious nonprofits. But I work my tail off as much as I can for issues that I believe in, for voting rights, for the environment, for a just economy. There is no such thing as apolitical faith. My faith has something to say about every issue that comes before us. And therefore, I think we are called to work for those issues as best we can, using what resources and time we have available to us. Another way people are apolitical is when they choose not to participate at all because they don't think anything can make a difference. Maybe they are not privileged, but they think, what's it matter if I participate? Nothing will change. And to that I say, and I think both hope and hopelessness are self-fulfilling prophecies. The more you give in to hope, the more likely you are to help create the world as you would like it to be. The further you sink into hopelessness, well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy too, because you abdicate your responsibility to make things better and provide hope for yourself and others. There are many ways in which people are apolitical. I don't think any of them are valid. We must be involved in life. It is the only way things will ever get better. There is no such thing as the Immaculate Conception of Virtue, as James Luther Adams wrote. Good things will not just happen. We must be involved in making them happen. We must be involved for the good, as best we can with what we have, wherever we are. In the political struggle, if you choose not to take sides, then you automatically choose the side of the oppressor against the oppressed, the rich against the poor, the powerful against the weak. There's a struggle going on in our country and around the world, there always is, between what's right and wrong, what's about love and goodwill and compassion and kindness and inclusion, and what's about hate and violence and fear and anger. If you choose to sit on the sidelines in that battle, you have taken a side. There's no such thing as not choosing sides. If you choose not to decide, you've still made a choice. Pancake and I certainly appreciate you walking with us this morning. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment about your thoughts on being apolitical or an apolitical person of faith. Share this with others. For now, that's it. We'll see you next time. We love you. Bye.